Hey y'all, welcome back to Horse Range Mountain Farm. So I'm really busy today and I've got a lot to get planted, and I've also got a till where we ripped up where we had our tomato plants. We had some black landscape fabric down as a weed barrier and we had to pull it up. Nathan and Jacob pulled it up for me. And so now I've got to take my little hand tiller and I'm gonna till where the tomatoes were down through there. And then I'm gonna get it ready to plant tomatoes. I've still got some more broccoli, cabbage, peppers, you name it, I've got it to plant. And I'm running behind, I'm chasing my tail, y'all, as the old saying goes. So let's get busy. This is where we had our tomatoes. And so the guys ripped all that landscape fabric that's laying over there. They didn't have time to wad it up and put it in the trash, so I've got to take and do that later. But our goal today is to get this tilled in between these. Actually, we're gonna get this tilled underneath all of these posts so that I can get my tomatoes in. Then we're gonna do black plastic in between the rows like we had it, but instead of doing the landscape fabric, I've just got some plastic that I'm gonna put down this year and use it and make use with what I have on hand. So let's get busy, y'all. As you can see, I've got a lot to get accomplished today. And the day is half gone because I had to go work this morning. So, well, it's actually mostly gone. It's 3 o'clock, so I've got to get busy, y'all. I'm gonna finish tilling in between this row and the broccoli and cabbage row. And then I'll be going over there to the tomato. And this is the black plastic that I'm gonna be using. We used it for the elephant garlic and it works just fine. I have a good bit of this. I actually got this on trade, y'all. I traded what me and Nathan call a pooper duper for our camper, which it's called a, I'm trying to think here. It's called a waste tank toter, I think, or sewage toter. Anyways, we call it a pooper duper toter, and our neighbor calls it a turd toter. So I swapped him the turd toter for this whole roll of plastic. So I thought that was a pretty good trade. So, but we wasn't using it at the time, and we needed the plastic and he needed the turd toter, so we just swapped. So it worked out good. You know, I like those bartering deals. Those are pretty good. So the other day I said that I had a lot to get planted, and I did. Well, I got some stuff planted, but I had to stop because the cows got out, and I didn't realize that I had forgot to hook their fence back up to the strong Energizer. So it was hooked to the chicken fence, which isn't very strong, and they figured it out. So they got out, and of course Ginger ate some of my cabbage, which she only got a couple of them. So I had to replant those two. And I had to fix the fence so that whenever I did finish planting, that they wouldn't get into the food. So that was a delay for my day. So the next evening, me and Nathan planted some broccoli and cabbage. We got that completed, but I still have my tomatoes to get planted. I've got to get that done today. I've also got to go harvest our strawberries because they are loaded up, and I'll show y'all. I'll take y'all along and show y'all that. And then we've got to get, what else do I got to get done today? Oh, I gotta get some of my irises planted that my aunt gave me, my Aunt Lil. I've got to get those planted. So I've got a little bit to do today. I'm loaded up, and y'all, there is nothing like fresh strawberries. As you can see, something's been nibbling on our strawberries. And y'all, these are organic strawberries, and look how big they are. We hadn't done anything to these. They grow like God made them.
Yeah.
So this is just off of one bed, and I've got 2 more beds to go. So I gotta get busy, y'all, because the mountains have their bonnet on, as my dad says. And once the bonnet's on, that means rain will be here soon, especially if it stays on the mountains. Because as you can see, you see no mountains right now. Just the very bottom of that one. See, I have all of these tomato plants. All of those which are getting really big, and I've got to get all of these tomato plants planted. So we've got just a few tomatoes to get planted today. Okay, so planting tomatoes, the old timers always say to add a little bit of Epsom salt in the bottom and a little bit of fertilizer, and I use organic fertilizer, and I do put a little Epsom salt in there, mix it around. And they say that this helps prevent blossom end rot. And it always seems to work real well for us. And I had already added the fertilizer, y'all, before I turned the camera on. Alright, so I gotta run and go get my tomato clips, because we're using tomato clips this year. We didn't do that last year, and we just used these strings with landscape staples on the bottom to go into the dirt. But this year we're going to use the clips for the tomatoes too. That'll help support it even better. Last year we just weaved the string around the tomatoes, so it needed a little more support. So that's why we're doing the tomato clips this year. So let me run and get those. So I'm just going to take this string right here, and I'm going to tie it to one of these landscape staples. Now this is the string that we have attached up top to the metal conduit. Just tie a knot on it. I'm going to put it down in the ground right next to this tomato plant. Alright, so I'm going to take this clip right here. I'm going to move this little limb for it. Well, I may have to hold it up. And then what you do is you put your string in this part of the clip. And then you just bring your tomato plant in and clip it around. And that just slides in there, and then this keeps the tomato from falling over. And as it grows, you can put more clips on there. Like you could have put one down here when it was smaller. And you can take and you can take the clips and push in right here if you want to change it and move it. So these are reusable. So we're going to see how this works, but I think it'll work just fine. And then when the wind blows, it just kind of sturdies the plant. So I thought that was a pretty neat little idea. Now I want to put my tomato plants 2 feet apart, because then it allows airflow, and that helps prevent diseases. Alright, so a lot of people know we grow organically. Now a lot of people, and even us at the beginning, we were like, why is organic so much more expensive if they use if they use no pesticides or less pesticides? Because there is some things that you can use, like neem oil, spinosad, and you can also use diatomaceous earth. Oh my gosh, I'm in ants. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I'll just move to this side since I just disturbed the ant bed on that side. At least I didn't get bit. But while we're talking about getting bit by ants, I might as well go ahead and give you a little tip. The other day, let me hold the camera up here. I'm getting tangled in everything, y'all. So the other day, I was out here working and I got bit by some ants. And I was like, oh Lord, I don't want to feel this stinging all day long. Hold on, my camera blurred. So I was like, I don't want to feel this stinging all day long. I was like, Lord, what can I put on it to make it stop? Well, then I looked down and I saw this right here. And this is curly dock. Now I've done a YouTube short on it about how you can eat the younger leaves. Well, I took it and I felt like I should just wad it up, and I wadded it up and I rolled it and rolled it and rolled it until all those juices was coming out all over my ant bite. And you can see it start, and it may turn a little green because that's what it did. And y'all, I'm telling you, it was like instant relief. The ant bite didn't even hurt at all. I was so amazed. So then a couple of days later, Nathan's out in the garden working with me, and he gets into an ant bed. And these are fire ants. So I said, hold on, let me go get this. Let me show you what worked for me the other day. I said, I was praying and I said, I felt like the Lord said to use that. So I did, and it was instant relief, y'all. And so I was like, this is so amazing. So I did it to him and he was like, whoa, that worked instantly. I was like, I know, isn't that amazing? So that's one of God's amazing things. Things that we take for granted and we just look at them as a weed or something. And y'all, there's actually a purpose for it. There's always a purpose for something. Even if it's a pesky fly or mosquito, there's a purpose for everything. Just like you and me. All right, so now I'm gonna move over here and hopefully not getting any more ants. But there may be some more down through here. We'll just hopefully not get into them. So as I was saying before I got into the ant bed, is a lot of people are like, so why is organic so much more expensive than the other stuff? And that is because with growing organically, it's more labor intensive because you're not using the weed killers in between the rows, because a lot of people use weed killers in between the rows. And if you don't use weed killers, of course, you're having to either till or you're having to do it by hand. So that's more labor intense. So you don't want those bottom leaves touching the ground because it can cause septoria or early blight, and we don't want that to happen. So we just clip those bottom leaves off. So I'm pretty good about getting into ant beds, y'all. Me and Nathan used to have this job that we did, and it backed up to a retirement home. Well, we were down there weed eating, and it was like the size of 2 football fields, if not a third one. It might have been the size of 3 football fields. All I know is it was a long, long way, and it was on a bank like this. So Nathan said you had to have your goat shoes on. And so we, oh, I forgot to put that clip on. So we would go down there and we would weed eat. And y'all, I was over there weed eating. And it was right close to the back side of some of those houses in that retirement community. And all of a sudden I got into a bed of fire ants because I wasn't looking down and they was biting me all over. And y'all, I started stripping my pants off. And all of a sudden Nathan looks over and he starts laughing at me. And I think Lamar was with us, which is one of our friends. And he starts laughing, but y'all, I couldn't help it. I had to get those things off because they was just gonna keep biting me. And so I had to get them off. So needless to say, everybody got a laugh. And thank goodness I didn't see anybody looking out their windows, but Nathan still laughs about that. All I cared about is getting those ants off of me. I did not care at that time who was looking. Because whenever you're hurting like that, you're just wanting to get that stuff away from you, and you're wanting those ants to quit biting you. So I guess anybody would do that. But let me move you guys on down. We lost, nope, there it is. It's hanging up there. I thought we lost a hook, but we didn't. It was just hanging up there where I didn't see it. But yeah, Nathan laughs and laughs and has to tell everybody about that joke. So I guess I'm telling y'all about it. He'll be laughing when he sees the video though, because he'll be talking all about it. Remembering when. So I was more attentive after that, and I would look around as I was weed eating and keep a check on my britches leg to make sure I didn't have ants crawling up. Now Nathan got into a yellow jacket's nest down there, and they started stinging him, and I saw him come running, and about the time I saw him come running, I took off running because I knew what was going on. And we ran to get away from those things. That's the adventures of having a landscaping business and doing grass cutting also. You never know what you're gonna see or what adventure you might entail. Y'all, I believe I'm gonna like these little tomato clips really well. It seems like they are real sturdy. I mean, they sturdy the plant real good. And we get some really high winds up here, so I think they'll do good. I'll just have to keep a check on them as they grow to add more to them.